Hi, thank you for that excruciatingly boring introduction, other me, where I explained the base principle of I'm going to do a project for college and thought it'd be fun to film it and put it online because it just is, I guess. But yeah, a bunch of other boring stuff as well, which I'll probably forget to film, so just this. I've done a little bit of testing and sorted out some stuff just because I didn't want to start and have nothing to do and then sit here for 6 hours trying to work out how stuff works. Okay, essentially, starting here, we've got a static int value. This is just a value that can change in any of these different voids. It just works, so I have a value which I can use at any point, and then it doesn't feed on to the next bits. This is my main, so the program will always start from here. Oh yeah, I should probably have said, this is C#. I haven't done much with C#, other than college. But yeah, this is what I know, and this is what I'm doing. So this is the main. It'll always start here, and all of these end at the end of this bit. So I can show you this. This gives an array. It's a 2D array, because you've got this comma here. So this will print out this bit. Because, well, I don't have much practice with this. This is one of my first bits. Okay, so this is a for loop. Well, this bit's a for loop, that bit, and it repeats this for loop. So this for loop, it'll do start with the integer I as 0 and go up to the length of the first. So this means, well, there's so much stuff to explain. In computer science, you use a 0 index as the starting index. So this shows, well, the fact that there's any digit in here means that it's a 2D array. 2D array with this thingy. This will do the first one. So this will be the first array. So it'll be all of this, giving a value. So this is one value in the first bit of the array. This is the second value. And this is the third value. So the length here will be 3, and then it will go from index 0 to index 1 to index 2, and then stop because the I will be less than the 3, which is the length of that. Okay, and then this is a second for loop, which will do essentially the same thing, but only in each of these. So when I is 0, it will take the 0 index of the first dimension, and then it'll do the 0 index, so that's the 1, go up to the 2, go up to the 3, because it's the same thing. And then in the console, it's going to write. The difference between write and write line is write just does stuff. It just writes it out. So it'll just display that. Write line, every time that you write something in write line, it will go on to the next line to start the next bit. So what this will do is, well, I'll remove this bit. Right, perfect. Exactly what I wanted to do. So it will run. Actually, I'll just remove all of that. Otherwise, it won't run. I guess you can see this has changed to 0 references, because I've removed the bit where it's referenced in here. So it now will not do any of that. And because this is referenced in here, it won't do that one either. So it's just doing the main. So this will write out 1, because it will do 0, 0, and then write 0, 0, which is the 0th one in the first dimension and the 0th one in the second dimension. So it'll write 1, and then this j will increment to 1 because of this bit. So that means once it's finished, it will, like once it's run everything in these curly brackets, it will increment to j is 1, and then it'll run the 0th index for the first dimension and the first and 1, because j is now 1. So it'll do number 1 and print 1, 2, and then do 3. And then this has gone up to j is 2. So it will finish this for, come out of this for, and do console.write, which will put everything onto the new line. And then it will repeat it again. And if this works properly, which hopefully it does, we should get, takes a second. So while this is loading, oh look, no interesting facts needed. Okay, so look at this, it's done. 1, 2, 3, then go on to a new line, done 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 blah. Okay, lovely. So I'll add title back in. Oops. Stick that there. So now it's got its reference back, and I can show you what these are. So this is a new static void. Okay, so each of these static voids is essentially, it's a process. So it's a sub-procedure which can be called at any time with something like this, which references it. And when you highlight it, it comes up with where it is. It also shows it on these little grey bits, which is hard to do when you're hovering over it. But these little grey bits, that's every time that you're at a procedure. Function. So these are functions. Every time you get a function, it'll put a little box over here, and then you can just click to stuff. It'll do stuff. It'll show you where all the bits are. If I close this, it'll move it up. So this new one is here. Undo that. Okay, so essentially what will happen now, because I've recalled this, it will run through all of this code, do all of the iterations, so do this one, and this one, and then it'll finish here at this bit, and then it'll call onto the title one. So this title one, I can close that. The title one, it creates a new 2D array, got the 2D bit as well. So this, I can input any numbers into here, and then it'll put it into here. So this is the same sort of for loop. You've got the I to the length of this, so it'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 repetitions from 0 to the 4th index. And then it'll do the same sort of thing in here. So it'll do 5 repetitions of this for each of the 5 of that. So this entire thing will run 26 lines of code. Well, 26 of these procedures, which is that one. So what this will do is it'll set the value, which is the static integer up here, because I don't need to create a whole new variable for this, because it'll just be used in this tiny bit. I can use this global value. It'll set the same thing, so the title, so this, oops, this calls it there and there and there and there. So it'll do the same thing. So it'll start with this one, and then this new value, which is 0, will go into the draw function, which is this one. So this is a switch. So whatever is inputted in here, which is currently value, so int a is now the value, it'll do a switch, which is essentially, it picks some, well, cases, these bits. So if a is a case of 0, which it is, because that's 0, so now this is 0, it'll run this line of code, which writes this. So this is console.write, so it'll just write out a space, because that's what's here. You can change this to, or change that to a T, and then it'll write a T, but I don't want a T, I want a space. You can find out why. And it'll do, this is the hexadecimal value, so like where you have 255, oh yeah, this bit. It goes from 255, this is the R, this is the G, this is the B. You have these things here, my colour picker. So for this first one, you've got 180, actually I think I changed that. Yeah, 15, 15, 15. But this one, the 255 for all of them, this will give you white, this one. So all of these go to here. So it'll give, for every time there's a 1, so all of these ones, it'll give, well, it'll write to the console a white square, because it changes the colour. Oh yeah, I should probably have said. This is the colour changing thing. I have no idea what this does, but that's how it works. I have no idea what the X1B does. But as long as you change these ones to any RGB value, and this bit after the M is what you want to write down, like I can change this to the, and then it'll write the as a thing. Oh wait, no it won't, because I've just ruined that somehow. Okay, so I fixed that. So this is what it writes in here, at this colour, which is, oops, at this colour, which is the white. Yeah, so I've just, these are comments, these slashes, which is really confusing because before I'd only done Python, whereas a hashtag, but now it's a slash. So yeah, before it was that, but it's not for some reason in this, just differences in coding languages. So I've written this out because I have no idea what the hexadecimal code for black is. So I've just written it out there. So black is 0, so every time there's a 0, it'll make a black square. Every time there's a 1, it'll make a white square. Oh, that's quite cool. If you highlight that, it comes up with every instance. Did not know that, learning some new stuff. So every one of these 2s, it'll do a light green square, dark green for 3, and beige for 4. And then it'll set the background colour back to black, just so it doesn't break it all. And then, well, it'll only do one thing, because the value that it's putting in is only one thing. So this entire bit of code will repeat 25 times for every time that this function is called, but each time it will only pick 1. So if it was 1, it would only run this line of code, and then loop back up to this bit. And that looks like this. It loads. There we go. It does the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which was before. Then these ones here, they're actually black, but it's a slightly different black, so you can tell it from the main console colour. Don't know if you can see that, but that's what it is. So that one's black, that one's white, that one's light green, that one's dark green, that one's beige. So this allows me to draw whatever I want all over this bit, and then all in different colours, and I can add new colours by adding more cases to this. So if I wanted a different colour, I could set one of these to, so if I change this one to 5, and then added a case 5 and say that was blue, if I wanted a blue. I do want a blue. I could set that to blue, put in the RGB values for blue, and then when I run it, this will come out as blue. Change that back to 0. Okay, so that's the basic sort of thing. This is getting a really long video. I haven't done anything at all except to explain stuff. So this is going to be the end of this. This is just going to be sort of an explanation bit for what all of this code does, and sort of what I'm trying to do here as my goal, which is make a better game than everyone else. Oh, yes. The prompt for the game was it has to be a text-based game. So everything that I'm ever going to be doing is using console.write or console.writeLine, just because it's a funny way of getting around the having to do it as a text-based game. There's still going to be text, but I'm going to have like pictures and people and different things and icons for when you have like weapons and stuff. It'll be really cool. You'll see that in the next bit. But yeah, so text-based game with pictures, which is not at all what's supposed to happen. But yeah, very long explanation bit. Right, that's it. See you in the next video segment thing. Okay, so for everyone who was paying attention to the bottom right-hand corner and is not blackout drunk from using it as a drinking game, I used the filler words and a total of 63 times during that entire video. I have a problem, just a slight one, especially considering that that's once every 12.3 seconds. Goodbye, see you in a bit.